Peace to the family, was goody? It's your boy back with another episode. I'm your host, Jody Wins. Welcome to the Jody Wins Show. We had a crazy night, a crazy little weekend over the weekend. You know, NBA playoffs. Shit was cracking. You know what I mean? We finna get into it. First, like, share, and subscribe. Let's get it. So over the weekend, I didn't do a show on Friday. So on Friday we had the New York Knicks go against the Detroit Pistons. You know, New York won 116 to 113. Jalen Brunson had 40 and 7. Bridges had 25. OG had 22 and 5. For the Pistons, K had 23, 7 and 8. Durant had 21 and 6. Beasley had 20 off the bench. Close game, good game. Jalen Brunson put the skeet pause on Thompson twin, and he just kept rolling. He went left, stopped between the legs. Thompson kept going that way. Brunson had the open three. Buckets. I mean, that shit was crazy. That was probably like one of the greatest game winners I've ever seen. Or I don't want to say game winner, go-ahead shots that I've ever seen in the clutch. Pistons had a chance to tie the game. You know what I mean? Beasley fumbled the ball, went out of bounds. Crazy. You know, it's a mistake. Beasley got to hit that, though. Beasley got to catch it and at least get off a shot. But that's just, what a way to lose. What a way to end your season. You know what I mean? Off of, he had like 6 or 7 threes that game, so it was a good pass, good play by K to recognize the open man. You know, even though I'm the star, I'm going to recognize that this is the open man and I'm going to shoot it. You know, LeBron got a lot of hate for that, but bro, K was wide open. I mean, Beasley was wide open. He just fumbled the ball. But shout out to the Pistons. They had a good season. You know, they was a terrible team last year. They more than tripled their win total. So shout out to them. New York moving on to play Boston. It's gonna be a little wicked for the Knicks, but you know, it is what it is. And then sources say, I don't want to say sources, but I read that Jrue Holiday gonna be back. So you know, it's gonna be crazy. Denver Nuggets go against the Clippers. You know, Denver won 120 to 101, eliminating the Clippers, winning in Game 7. Aaron Gordon had 22 and 5. Brown had 21 and 5. For the Clippers, Leonard had 22 and 5. You know, James Harden, you know, Ghost Harden, you know, Invisible Harden. Yeah, he didn't show up. He had 11 points or something like that. For the Clippers, you know, if you got Joker had 16, Murray had like 16, and y'all still lose. You know, Kawhi had 22. Zubac had like 10 or 11. It was just Kawhi. You know, Kawhi was by himself. Denver advances to play OKC. You know, that James Harden invisibility in these clutch games got to be studied, bro. Like, that's crazy. Like, he's the top shooting guard, top regular season shooting guard in NBA history. He like one of the tops. But when they come into the playoffs, bro, he disappear real often. You know what I mean? And it's kind of wicked because James Harden, one of my favorite players. I didn't care who won the series. I mean, I wanted the Clippers to win because I wanted James to, you know, at least get a ring. But the Nuggets got Russell Westbrook, and I want Russell Westbrook to get a ring. So I didn't really. I just wanted to see hoop, bro. I just wanted to see hoop. And James Harden, I don't know, bro. He just be disappearing. It's crazy. But Denver advanced. They won Game 7. They move on to play OKC in the second round. That's gonna be a good series. Shout out to Denver for getting that dub. You know, even though they fired their coach at the end of the season, they still balled out enough to at least advance to the second round. Yesterday games, we had Indiana go against Cleveland, the first game of round 2. Indiana went against Cleveland. Indiana won 121 to 112. Nembhard had 23 and 6. Holly had 22 and 13 on them. For the Cavs, Mitchell had 33 and 5. Jerome had 21 and 8 off the bench. Mobley had 20 and 10. Everybody thought Cavs was finna breeze by the Pacers, you know. Pacers got fight in them. They snuck out and surprised them and won game 1. Like I said, I told y'all, Cleveland ain't like that to me. I know they got the best record in the East by a landslide, but that wasn't enough. That's not enough. They still don't look like a team that's dominating. You know what I mean? Shout out to Indiana for getting that dub. They won 1 in Cleveland. You know, that's what you want to do. Now, if they win 2 in Cleveland, they beat them in the regular season 3-1. So, this is not a surprise to me. But if they get this second game in Cleveland and then they got to go back to Indiana, oh, it's wicked for Cavs. It'll be probably the most disappointing season in NBA history. But shout out to Indiana for getting that dub. We had Golden State go against Houston, Game 7. Golden State won 103-89. Buddy Hield showed up and showed out last night, 33 points. He had like 16 or something like that. He has like 6 threes in the first half or something like that. Curry had 22, 10, and 7. Jimmy had 20 points, 8 and 7. Houston, Thompson Twin had 24 and 9. Sengun had 21, 14, and 5. Both of the Thompson twins got eliminated this past weekend, so none of them niggas is in the playoffs. Them niggas gonna be nice though, both of them. They just need to get a little jumper. You know what I mean? They gonna be nice though. But shout out to Golden State for getting that dub. You know, I kind of knew it. Game 7. You know, a young team versus a championship core with Draymond and Curry, and then you got Jimmy who done led weak ass Miami to the finals twice. Shout out to Golden State for getting that dub. They go against who? Minnesota, and Ant-Man is like that. You know, Ant-Man just been collecting Infinity Stones. It could be another stone. You know, Curry. Let me put that in there, Curry. You know what I mean? That's gonna be a good series. I don't really care who. I mean, I want Ant-Man to win, but if Curry get it, you know, Curry is Curry. You know what I mean? Curry to go. Shout out to them for getting that dub. Shout out to Houston. You know. Number 2 team in the West, you know. It's crazy. Nobody thought they was going to do that, but they did. And their season reminded me of OKC season the year prior. Nobody expected them to be good, and they was like ranked 10th, and they came out to be number 1, and they got eliminated in the playoffs early. Nobody expected this Rockets team to be good. They ended up number 2. They got eliminated from the playoffs early, but they got pieces. You know what I mean? You identify the pieces. Thompson Twin, you know, Eason, Jabari, you know, Green, Sengun. Green gotta do something. Green did 7 points and 6 points and shit like that. Then 38 and then 6 and then 3. You know, he gotta do something. He gotta figure something out to be more consistent. Will they go get KD? You know, you never know. You know what I mean? That'd be a good fit. But shout out to Golden State for getting that dub. They move on. So after the Lakers Game 5 loss to Ant-Man and the Timberwolves, Bron suffered they say Bron suffered a MCL strain. And do I believe it? No, I don't believe it because you know what I mean? I don't believe it. Even if it is, it could be, but I wouldn't have put that out, you know what I mean? Because everybody think LeBron is full of excuses. You know, it's always a reason why he lost. And to LeBron fans, y'all always got a reason why he lost. You know what I mean? It's, oh, LeBron, he didn't have help. He didn't have this. He didn't do he didn't do this. Like when the Cavs 60-win team, you know, he didn't have help, but they won 60 games. Like, how don't you have help? If your team is winning 60 games, that's obviously enough. Well, you got enough to win. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. There's always an excuse, and like I said, I don't really believe it like that. If it is, you know, hope he get well, but I don't really think there was an injury, bro. They were just playing, you know. LeBron got a history of flopping. You know, it is what it is. LeBron is the owner of the NBA, so whatever he say, they gonna do. Hey, tell him I'm injured because I don't want to tarnish. You know, it is what it is though. He 40 though. You know, he 40. LeBron 40. But yeah, whatever. And then we're going to end with saying shout out to Greg Popovich. He done coaching after 29 seasons. He hanging it up. Bro won 5 rings. You know, I think he was coach of the year probably like 3 times. Great career. Great coach. Great dynasty that he built. Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Parker. You know, he played with David Robinson. It's kind of crazy, though. But, yeah, shout out to Greg Popovich. That's all we finna get into today. Like, share, and subscribe. We out. Peace.